Hello and welcome to CFEngine is in, where we talk about various CFEngine stuff. My name's Nick. I've been doing CFEngine for a while. We've got Craig and Cody as usual. Today, thought that we would talk a little bit about doing some STIG compliance or any kind of compliance with CFEngine. That sound okay? All right. Well, let's get going here. Let me get rid of this. And pull this up. So recently I was kind of working on, let me make this a little bit bigger. Let me know how the font is big enough.
Maybe one more.
Right.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. Recently I was working on some compliance policy related to STIGs. This is a STIG viewer, just kind of shows you STIG information. So everybody's got all these nice descriptions of the things that you're supposed to have on your system to make them more secure. And we're going to look at implementing some of this in CFEngine. So this one here is about, that's the first one on the list, must require authentication upon booting into single user and maintenance modes. So if we look down here, they've got some details on how to probe your system for this to see if you're vulnerable. They say that you should grep for password case insensitive in grubs config. And if the root password entry, root, does not begin with password pbk df2, this string here, then it's a finding. So in CFEngine, one of the things that we commonly do is inventory different aspects of the system. And this type of thing is really good for compliance type reporting. So I've got a host here. This is an Ubuntu 20 host. So this is what this STIG guide is targeting. So let's just go ahead and take a look at this and see what we got. So there is 0 results for password in the grub config on this host. And that means that there is no root password entry beginning with this, and therefore this is going to be a finding. So let's take a look at CFEngine policy that kind of implements this. I've already written this. Let's go take a look at it. Services, security hardening, STIG, Ubuntu 20, and I got a few in there, but we are looking at 238.204. 238.204. All right, so we've got a bundle here that is named for this individual check. We've got a link to this check's webpage. We are tagging this bundle as an inventory type bundle for this Ubuntu STIG. And then, of course, we're only doing this stuff on Ubuntu 20. And then same thing here. So this policy is really short, 23 lines. And so basically all we're doing here is we're defining a variable called finding. It can be called anything. And then we're setting that variable's value to the identifier for the finding. And then we're going to go ahead and tag it for inventory and give it a name that is canonical Ubuntu 2004 LTS STIG v1 findings. So that's just specific to this version of the guide. We go back to the main page here, version 1. So, and then we are defining this variable unless this regular expression evaluates to true. So we're looking for lines that start with password PBK DF2, and then have root as the second field, and then have some other stuff after that, which is not exactly what they asked us to look for, but it is in the spirit of what they're looking for. So we're looking for a line that matches this. And if we don't find that, then it's a finding. So let's go ahead and run this policy. So let me get this name of that. Okay, show evaluated vars equals this. And let's see here. One more thing. Copy from there. This bundle name. Var. So this namespace in this bundle. Oh, I got to remove that comment. There we go. So I'm just running the policy that's already installed on the host and then printing out the evaluated vars that match this name. And so if I shrink this text down so that it just comes back on one line, it's a little bit easier to read. So here we go. We've got finding that's defined. It's got that value. So that's telling us that indeed there is no line that is matching that. So we can go ahead and just quickly edit grubs config to make sure that it would not, do not edit this file. Yes, but I'm just testing this. We put their example line in here. And then we do the same thing. Oh no. Still came up as a finding. P238204. Well, that makes for a great demo. Indeed. Are we in this right file? Grub.config? Yes. Well, I guess we got to look at this and fix that. Okay. So it's a finding unless that's a reg line. Any begin with a space, any number of times, password PBKDF2, any number of spaces. Boom, there we go. Indeed, bad regex. So this is why good to test your stuff. Okay, so that's broken there. So let me just go back to the hub. Oops, not inputs. Change it up here in the source. Services, security hardening, STIG, 220. Fix our regular expression, save it. All right. So now that we have fixed that policy, oops, go back here, unfix that. go. So if we look at our regular expression is fixed. Okay, so now that we have, now that we've got these variables being reported, we can do other stuff. So if you're just running core, you might have some policy that does something like find all of the variables that match this attribute name and collect them together so that you can report them out. I'm not going to do that at this moment. I am using Enterprise, so let me get this out of the way. And in Enterprise, we report all of this inventory back. So let me pull this down here. Oops. Let's go with this one. Okay, so we can go ahead and look. I've got 2 hosts in my little infrastructure here. One of them's running Ubuntu 20. And I can look for inventory. And now we can see we've got several findings from the list of these things. Let's put these up side by side for a second. Go back to here. So we got 238.215, which is this one here. SSH. What's this looking for? This one's looking for OpenSSH package. If OpenSSH server package is not installed, it's a finding. Make sure it's loaded and active. That might just be latent. Look at the next one. Or I have another bug. Let's see here. 201. Must map authenticity identity to the user or group account for PKI-based authentication. So similar type of check in this other policy, just looking for the presence of a line. And if it's not there or it doesn't contain this at all, then it's a finding. So once we have this inventory in Enterprise, you can use that to build different components. Specifically, one of the really useful ones here is in compliance reports. And I've got a compliance report already made using these checks. And we can see that out of the gate, 70% of the first 10 checks are failing on a stock Ubuntu 20 box. Here's the authenticity. So we can look at this. These checks are based on the fact that this specific inventory attribute, Ubuntu 20 LTS STIG v1 findings, does or doesn't contain any of these individual numbers. So it's really easy to go ahead and then create these compliance reports so you can see kind of your current status. A lot of times people are only doing like these type of compliance checks and scans infrequently, once or twice a year, something like that. But, you can't push this all the way to the edge and do this more continually. You don't have to necessarily run all of these checks every 5 minutes. Some of these checks are pretty expensive to run, especially some of the package verification stuff. So you would definitely want to cache some of that information so that you're not hammering the system, rechecking everything constantly. But pushing all of this stuff out to the edge and having it run a little bit more continually is going to give you a better security posture than only running it once or twice a year, as quick as infrastructure and everything else changes.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to show. Did you have any questions? No?
I'm personally really excited about trying to get this running on like images instead of a running system. So, like your AWS AMI that you use for everything, or your Docker image that you pull from wherever. Like, I would really like to see this kind of report for that kind of thing. And then, obviously, like as a sysadmin or something like that, I might spend time writing policy that fixes those things, maybe make new AMIs, new Docker images that I use instead that are, sufficiently compliant to satisfy my taste. That'd be cool.
Yeah, definitely. You can apply this stuff, take an AMI, spin it up, or whatever your image is, and then apply this as part of it. You can also do this stuff like for refreshing your images. So like if you're refreshing your images weekly or on some period of time that you're, updating your images, updating packages, do another scan, see the reports from this.
Yeah.
Clean, tidy things up.
I could see even getting into like the continuous delivery kind of situation, right? Where you refresh your image, you run it through this, and if it's less than a certain percentage compliant, then you fail it, and then your pipeline is dead, and you have to do something. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about that in a future episode.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, on mine, I only got 20%. I didn't get 30%.
30% non-compliant.
I had 20% compliance. Oh, actually,
but
I guess I'm running it on more hosts though. Yeah, so never mind.
Well, I also fixed the regular
fix
expression.
Right.
So if you didn't fix the regular expression, I would bet that you've got a different one.
That's the one. Yes.
So if you're interested in grabbing or helping work on any of this stuff, I've got it in this GitHub repository here. You can come and open pull requests to add on to it to complete more of these STIGs so that less work for everybody else. All right.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
Yeah. So quick one for today. Go write some security policy.
Right.
Awesome. I guess we'll catch everybody on the next one.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.